What up? K Rugs, the Sober Dog. Another video. Video 1 of 17 outrageous ways drug addicts make money. When I look back on my addiction, I came up with some crazy ways to make money, and so did all the other people using around me. Definitely in the six figures, the amount of money I spent on drugs. Sad, crazy, but true. Let's get right to it. Way number 1, boosting. Boosting is probably the most common way addicts get money. Boosting, going into the store and stealing stuff, hiding it in your jacket, putting it under the cart, walking out with it. Anything like that. You know, I know groups of boosters who will go out into the suburbs, 4 or 5 of them at a time, and they'll plan their attack. One of them distracts the manager, 2 of them are wheeling stuff out the back door, one of them's wheeling stuff under the cart, whatever. There's also a lot of boosters who will take stuff specifically that they know people want. There was a fish market here in Rochester that would tell boosters to get tilapia, haddock, things like that, make sure they're fresh. So people would go to, the main stores and steal tilapia and haddock and all this other stuff that the main stores don't ever really, lock up. They're not worried about it. And they'd go back and sell it to this guy for 50 cents on the dollar. If you ever wonder why razors and condoms are locked up at Walmart, it's because of boosters. Number 2, selling your SNAP benefits or food stamps. Most addicts aren't in great positions financially, so they qualify for benefits from the government. These food stamps, like for example in New York, a single person can get up to $200 a month in food stamps. Now, the first of the month comes, you get your food stamps. Many addicts will take that money and either sell it to somebody they know for half of it, in cash, so $200 for $100 cash, or they'll bring it right to their drug dealer, who will gladly give them drugs for it. Drug dealer will give them maybe $110, $120 in drugs. The dealer's got $200 on a food stamp card. He'll take and get, $200 in groceries. The addict gets their drugs. Everyone's happy for the day. Sad but true. Number 3, stealing from family and friends. If someone in your family suffers from addiction, you probably know this one all too well. Addicts steal from family and friends all the time. If you're curious as to why, if you have somebody in your family who's using and you're wondering, why do they steal from me? All I do is try to help. Or if you're wondering why do addicts target their family and friends, seems like way more than, a stranger. Check out this other video. I'll put a link up here to it. Why addicts steal from loved ones. But that's a very common one. Number 4, credit card scams. Credit card scams are huge. One of the main reasons is it's a non-violent crime if you get caught, so many addicts know they won't get a lot of time for it. But anything, in the beginning of their addiction, if their credit score's still good, many addicts will, sign up for any cards they can, Visa, MasterCard, Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Walmart card, whatever they have, run up the tab and never pay it off. Anything they could do. One I used to do, unfortunately, was I would take my credit card, go when I could still use it, go to the gas station, and I tell people I'll swipe you $40 in gas for $30 cash. Now the problem is, once you swipe once at a gas station, you can't keep swiping 10 more times on different pumps. The credit card company shuts off the card for fraud. So I'd have to swipe, pump one person's car, and then get them out of there and wave the next car in while I'm still keeping the pump going. Sad but true. Number 5, selling medication. This is a big one. Lots of addicts are on, Medicaid, so their medication is pretty much free, or $1 or $2 copay, and they'll get medications. There's a lot of medications that have street value. I know a lot of cocaine and crack users who will get painkillers because they don't really take them, and they'll sell those for money for cocaine or crack. A lot of addicts sell their Suboxone medication, benzos. People go to their doctor and they'll lie and say, I got this or that and I need meds for it. And they know that, those 30 pills are worth $4 or $5 each and they get it for $1 copay. Number 6, petty crimes. These are all your, like I talk about, the credit card scams, the boosting, but also with that, you got your car thefts, garage theft, petty larcenies, stealing from somebody if you're at a restaurant, all the different things like that. People swiping a purse at a restaurant, people when they're, in the back room of their job and they take someone's wallet, all those, so-called petty crimes, even though they're not very petty because there's always victims involved. 7 is major crimes. These are more your robbery, your burglary, your kidnapping, in rare cases, murder for hire. But these are the crimes you're usually going to get some major time for. But, addicts get desperate in times of need and start breaking into strangers' houses, start robbing people at gunpoint, robbing them on the street, whatever they got to do to get that money. And along with this one is bank robberies. Bank robberies, contrary to what you might see, are still very popular. And many addicts know that if they go rob a bank without a weapon, it's considered a nonviolent crime if they don't threaten anybody. So they could get, I don't know how much money and get out of there. And now they're almost always going to get caught, but they don't care for the day because they got their money and they can get high. And when they do get caught, it's usually not a crazy sentence if you don't have a huge past record. That's our penal code. Is what it is. Number 8, which is a huge one, is prostitution and hooking. In my experience, when addicts get desperate enough, they go to one of two places: crime or prostitution. And unfortunately, usually the men go to crime and the women go to prostitution. This is huge, and it usually just starts out, a girl will go to her drug dealer and not have money and say, I'll do a sexual favor for a little bit of drugs. And, that's how it starts. And maybe they do that for a couple weeks, and then they, find somebody else. One of the guy's friends is willing to do it. And then, before long, maybe a pimp gets involved, or, maybe they're going on the street doing it. A lot of girls advertise on Backpage and Craigslist when they were still around. It's a sad but true way that, people make money. And, with the advancement of technology, a lot of prostitutes get paid with Cash App. So what they would do is get money up front from some of these guys and just take the money and run. Also, along with prostitution is fetishes. 2 specific females in recovery now, 2 women I know that I spoke with, said when they would go to put ads on Craigslist and Backpage, they saw ads for like fetishes, like foot worship, things like that. Then they'd say, well, one of the women told me I started doing that because I didn't even have to get naked. I get paid to have a guy kiss my feet. She's like, it was a win-win, and I was in control of the situation. Another, sad but very true. And number 9, which goes along with both those, is sex scams. There's a lot of, teams out there, boyfriend, girlfriend, 2 girls, whatever, 2 guys that will set up, set a John. They'll set the appointment up for, some type of prostitution. And then the girl's in there with the guy. They get him all loose, and maybe he gets naked, and then boom, somebody, busts out of the closet with a gun or, with a camera taking pictures of him or something. And the guy's naked and flustered, and they rob him, take what they can, do whatever they got to do. So those are the first 9 ways addicts make money. I'm going to come out the next video next week of my other 8 ways. Check out Soberdogs.com, and if you like my stuff, please hit that subscribe, that like to help me build up the channel. All right, see ya.